So I'll take a little bit more time to run through these new challenges and grab the function storylines.
Door number 1, round number 2. Ready when you are. Let's see how quick we can do this.
Two more tries. If I can't get it, I'll just skip it.
Like last time, only better. Door number 3. We're surrounded. Oh, wait. Never mind. You got it. But wait, there's more. Yep, more sand. Something's changed. Try your moves. Just gotta hold him off. Easy, pal. this is gonna give us an edge, then we might as well. What's behind door number 5? So calm. We can come here for practice.
Awesome, it looks like I can actually read everything here without even going outside. So, there are 2 more parts to read now, so let's read those. Career. To appreciate the impact of Red's music, consider first the current state of Cloudbank's social climate and how it evolved over the past 2 decades. When an altercation finally erupted in the crowd during one of her performances, it was the first such incident in 4 years. It escalated to the point where administrators were summoned to the scene. As one of the suspects was banned from the premises, he accused Red of an instigator and provocator. Red later stated it was in this moment that she fully understood the potent effect her music had on people. She decided to take certain precautions from that point, receding from the spotlight to compose new material in relative privacy. Rumors swirled, then once she finally re-emerged, trouble followed. Disappearance. The Camerata found her one night once the crowds dispersed after one of her performances. They had reason to believe that she would be alone, rehearsing said new material. But she was not alone, and the presence of another individual disrupted aspects of the Camerata's plan for the night. Red survived the incident, becoming separated from the Camerata due to these unforeseen events on their part. Although her trace data remains intact, partial transfer did occur, including transfer of ownership status of something the Camerata believed theirs. So here obviously we're talking about what happened slightly prior to the beginning of the game. And they're talking about Transistor here. And there's a little bit of interesting lines here because, for one, I don't really understand what they mean by her trace data remains intact. I feel like that might mean that she's not absorbed into the transistor. And also, just how exactly did the transfer of ownership status of something, most likely the transistor, from the Camerata to her happened? That's something I've been thinking about for quite a while, and I feel like it's a very interesting sentence there. But let's move on. Oops. We've already read this. So, here's Lillian Platt, and she was the intelligent person OVC board, which OVC are the platforms that you vote on throughout the city. And we already read the first part. Right, she resigned and disappeared. Now, actions taken. Personal records show Miss Platt was preoccupied with certain rumors and urban legends concerning an unusual phenomenon cited in the northwestern corner of the city, and possible connections between this and the rash of disappearances during the past 12 months. For undisclosed reasons, she did not wish to involve the authorities. Her access to privileged OVC information may have contributed to her decision. Other records show she engaged in clandestine discussions with individuals claiming to have knowledge of the circumstances surrounding her friend's disappearances. She arranged to meet with them one night in an unmarked port near Goldwalk Bay. There's a couple interesting things here. The first one being preoccupied with certain rumors and urban legends concerning an unusual phenomenon cited in the northwestern corner of the city. I think this is really important. I can't really understand exactly how, but for some reason I'm I'm feeling as if that sentence is very important. And it looks like she was talking to Camerata, since she is in the sword now. But yeah, I think she's not gonna really survive this unmarked port location thing. But next part here. So this is the racer that disappeared one day with his fastest bike. Freewheeling. Tracking systems on his bike indicated that Mr. Moyle headed northwest across the canal late one night, averaging speeds 228% faster than the common standard. He surely was aware that the northwestern corner of Cloudbank was offline pending investigation, and this was likely the appeal. Having his very own abandoned part of town to race through on his custom bike was Preston Moyle's dream, and the reality lived up to the dream, judging by the volume of Mr. Moyle's laughter recorded by his bike. However, the recording stopped abruptly. Very interesting. Also, again, northwestern corner, just like the other thing we just read, I believe. So she arranged to meet with one on my report. No, I thought I remembered reading something. Ah, here we go. With certain rumors and urban legends concerning an unusual phenomenon sighted in the northwestern corner of the city. So again, this place seems to be very important. They don't even really describe what the northwestern part of the city is, though. It's kind of strange. So, Shomar Shashberg. This is the guy that wanted to go to a restricted region and escape. So, Skydrop. After constructing his personal glider, Mr. Shashberg sailed forth one evening from a high-rise rooftop to the delight of thousands of onlookers at ground level. Onlookers lost visibility of him as he flew into the dense fog hanging over Goldwalk. Though their cheering continued for more than 40 minutes, Mr. Shashberg, meanwhile, completed his skydrop very much as planned. What he did not expect was that several individuals were waiting there for him when he touched down. Dum dum dum. Not much there so far. A little bit of suspense for the next part. Wave 10 again. This is our, I believe he's like a radio, spokesman. So, yeah. Arrangements. That evening, after his event drew to a close, Mr. Tennigan met members of the group calling themselves the Camerata. They invited Mr. Tennigan to come see what was really going on in his city, as long as Mr. Tennigan promised not to disclose any facts concerning the existence of the group. Mr. Tennigan outwardly accepted, for his curiosity could not be quenched, but he inwardly refused, for his commitment to his listeners precluded the keeping of any such secrets. First, he would meet the Camerata on their terms. So, one thing that's kind of strange here is that the Camerata called themselves the Camerata. So far, it looked as if they were being very secretive about everything they've done, but I think they may have been trying to bait him into following them, because I don't see what kind of point they would have disclosing their identities. And I think it's interesting to also mention that all these moves do somehow relate to the character that they're based on. So I think Breach is one of the kind of obvious one to me, because the first thing we see about this character, which again I don't think we know his name, is him getting stabbed by the sword and being uploaded. And from reading his which is kind of like piercing, you know, like piercing his body. So a little bit obvious there, I think, but that's really cool. And here's another one. Let's say help. This came from Sybil, and from the fight with Sybil, we saw that she kind of wanted to help Red. That's what she was kind of talking about. She said, "I knew you'd come back," and all this stuff. We need a little bit more background here to really see everything, but it's like a little helpful companion, and it's really cool that way, how the moves are made. The combat system in this game altogether is fantastic and very cool with the storyline. So I clicked on this character earlier on by accident, but here's Neola Chain. Background: one would have difficulty finding a more active or outspoken member of the community of Cloudbank's Goldwalk district as Miss Neola Chain. She allotted more than 66% of her available time on activities such as planning ordinances to improve underdeveloped regions, reaching out to and educating habitual non-voters, or advocating for groups lacking adequate representation. Her motives were rarely questioned, as her love for the district was in fact sincere, stemming from positive early experiences that grew to become fierce nostalgia. Miss Chain did have her detractors, however, and this became very clear at the opening she arranged for the Goldwalk channel. Here we see just a couple of interesting comments about the world, like habitual non-voters or groups lacking adequate representation. So like it looks like this world doesn't really have, I feel like doesn't have problems with like poverty and hunger. I think it's more of how outspoken you are, how many people know you're there, which is really interesting. And just like I believe in the trailer that we saw for Transistor, they were talking about how every person in Cloudbank has a voice. So that's really interesting. Oh, interesting. Okay. So. I really want to see more about Sybil. Then let's get him as a passive. That'll unlock the last piece of storyline. And this is just for survivability. I need this as a passive. Okay, this should work for now.
It's a fake. Looks real enough.
That's interesting.
That's enough of that.
Right, now we unlocked 3 songs. Ooh.
We're not alone. Hey, she's friendly, I think. Hi, Luna. Can I call you Luna? Good girl. Luna, fetch.
Okay, now I'll just play some of the songs that we heard earlier because again I just really like the music here and should be done in about 10 minutes if you want to skip to the next part of the videos.
One of the greats.
feel like these things are very relaxing to just listen to, not be in a rush to go anywhere. Okay. That's it for now. All the content we have here.